Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time to break down that incredible NFC Championship game where the Philadelphia Eagles punched their ticket to the Super Bowl with a decisive win over the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, to say the Eagles dominated would be putting it lightly, but let's rewind to the very first play of the game. Saquon Barkley. What a way to set the tone. A 60-yard touchdown run right out of the gate. It was electrifying.
It really was. And for Barkley, it's not just a highlight reel moment, it's a testament to his journey. To come back from those injuries earlier in his career and not only reach 2,000 rushing yards this season, but also extend his own NFL record with that seventh 60-plus yard touchdown run. To see him at this level reaching a Super Bowl after everything he's been through, it's really something special.
It is. And speaking of exceeding expectations, Jalen Hurts, despite that recent knee injury, he was unstoppable. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. He showed everyone his versatility and silenced any doubts about his ability to lead this team.
Hurts' performance was a masterclass in both composure and athleticism. What impressed me most was his ability to handle the pressure, make split-second decisions, and extend plays with his legs. That dual-threat ability makes him so tough to defend against, and it was on full display in this game.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the rest of that Eagles offense. A.J. Brown had another strong game with 96 receiving yards and a touchdown. But those Eagles put up a record-breaking 55 points, the most in a conference championship game since the 1970 merger. That says it all about their offensive strategy and efficiency.
It was a clinic. They consistently found ways to exploit the Commanders' weaknesses, and the offensive line gave Hurts all the time he needed to find his targets.
We do have to acknowledge the Commanders' effort, though. Jaden Daniels in his rookie season still managed to throw for 255 yards and a touchdown, even with that relentless pressure from the Eagles' defense.
Daniels showed flashes of brilliance, especially on that opening drive, that 18-play sequence where they marched down the field. Unfortunately, it ended with a field goal instead of a touchdown, but you could see their determination.
Yeah, that opening drive really showed they weren't intimidated. They weren't backing down from the Eagles or the moment. While they ultimately couldn't match the Eagles' offensive firepower, they had their moments, like Terry McLaurin's 36-yard touchdown reception, a glimmer of hope in a game that was quickly getting away from them.
That catch was incredible. The way McLaurin adjusted to the ball midair and secured it in the end zone was pure skill. Even in a loss, you have to appreciate those moments of individual brilliance.
Now the Eagles are on their way to the Super Bowl, where they'll face either the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs. Talk about a potential clash of titans.
It's going to be epic. The Bills, led by Josh Allen, have a dynamic offense and a tough defense. And then there's the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They're known for their offensive prowess and that creative play calling. It's going to be a thrilling matchup no matter who wins the AFC Championship.
Absolutely. And the fact that Andy Reid, a former Eagles coach, could be leading the opposing team adds another layer to the story. It's a battle for bragging rights, a test of legacies.
It really is. For the Eagles, this Super Bowl appearance isn't just about winning another title. It's a chance to solidify their place in NFL history. It's an opportunity to show they've evolved into a dominant force under Nick Sirianni. And for Andy Reid, it's a chance to add to his already impressive legacy as one of the greatest offensive minds the game has ever seen. One thing that really stood out to me was how well the Eagles neutralized the Commanders' defensive front. Their offensive line was like a wall, giving Hurts all the time in the world to pick apart the defense.
They were dominant, weren't they? Completely shut down that Commanders' pass rush, and that allowed blind Barkley to find those open lanes and just explode for big gains.
Exactly. The Eagles' offensive line has been so crucial to their success all season, and in this game, they were at their best. They set the foundation for everything else that clicked on offense.
And speaking of clicking, Hurts' ability to extend those plays with his legs was huge. He was constantly dodging pressure, keeping his eyes downfield, and then he'd either find an open receiver or take off for a big gain himself.
That's what makes him such a dangerous quarterback. He can beat you with his arm, he can beat you with his legs, and he has the instincts and awareness to make the right decision in a split second. The Commanders just couldn't figure him out.
You could see the frustration building on their sideline as the game went on. They had a plan, but the Eagles always seemed to have a counter.
They were always one step ahead. It felt like every time the Commanders tried to adjust, the Eagles had an answer ready.
But let's give credit where it's due. The Commanders did have some bright spots in this game. That opening 18-play drive showed their resilience.
Yeah.
They weren't giving up easily.
It was a statement drive for sure. They came out strong, converting on third downs and controlling the clock. It looked like they were going to get that touchdown, but the Eagles' defense tightened up in the red zone and forced them to settle for a field goal.
That goal line stand by the Eagles was huge. It could have been a very different game if the Commanders had scored a touchdown on that drive.
Momentum is such a big factor in football, and that early stop by the Eagles' defense allowed them to take control.
Now, as we look ahead to the Super Bowl, there's a lot of talk about how the Eagles will match up against either the Bills or the Chiefs. Both teams present unique challenges, and I'm really interested to see how Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff approach the game plan.
The Bills, with Josh Allen and their high-powered offense, they're going to test the Eagles' secondary like no other team has all year. They have so many weapons, and Allen's ability to escape pressure and make throws on the run makes them really hard to contain.
And then you have the Chiefs. With Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's complex offensive schemes, they're a different kind of challenge, more about precision timing and finding mismatches.
It's like comparing a hurricane to a chess match. The Bills will try to overwhelm you with their raw power, and the Chiefs will try to outsmart you with their strategic brilliance.
So for the Eagles, it all comes down to adapting their defense to whoever their opponent is. They can't afford to be one-dimensional. They'll need to be flexible, disciplined, and take advantage of any opportunities that come their way.
That's where Jonathan Gannon, the Eagles' defensive coordinator, is so important. He's known for his ability to adjust his schemes based on the opponent. His in-game adjustments could be the key to winning the Super Bowl.
And of course, we can't forget the historical significance of this Super Bowl matchup for the Eagles. Facing Andy Reid, their former coach, would add a level of intrigue and emotion that we rarely see on this stage.
It would be a battle of legacies, a mentor versus his former protege. The storylines are endless. And for the Eagles, a victory over Andy Reid in the Super Bowl would be the ultimate validation.
It's their chance to prove they've learned from the best, that they've built on the foundation Andy Reid laid, and that they're ready to write their own chapter in NFL history.
And for Andy Reid, it's an opportunity to prove he's still at the top of his game, that he can adapt and evolve with the league and lead a team to victory on the biggest stage, even against a team that knows him so well.
There's just so much at stake for everyone involved. It's going to be a game we'll never forget, full of drama, excitement, and historical significance.
And we'll be here to break it all down for you, to provide the insights and analysis that will make your viewing experience even better.
From the opening kickoff to the final whistle, we'll be dissecting every play, every decision, every emotional swing of the game.
So make sure you stay tuned, folks. This is going to be one for the ages. It's amazing how the Eagles have built such a strong bond with their fans. The atmosphere at Lincoln Financial Field was electric. It really speaks to the passion and energy that the Philadelphia fans bring into every game.
Yeah, that home field advantage was definitely a factor. You could feel the energy coming from the stands, and it had to have an impact on the players. They fed off of that energy, and it showed in their performance.
It's that intangible element that can really make a difference in a close game. The roar of the crowd after a big play, the groans after a missed opportunity, it all adds to the emotional roller coaster of playoff football. And for the Eagles, having that support behind them can be a game changer.
We've talked a lot about the Eagles' offense, but we can't forget about the role their defense played in this win. They were relentless in going after Jaden Daniels, constantly disrupting the Commanders' offense.
They were all over the field, making tackles in the backfield, forcing turnovers. The defensive line was especially impressive, creating chaos and making life difficult for the Commanders' offensive line.
That pressure on Daniels was key. It forced him into bad throws, leading to incompletions and interceptions. And even when the Commanders did manage to move the ball, the Eagles' defense would come up with a big play. A sack, a forced fumble, a pass deflection, anything to keep them out of the end zone.
It was a complete defensive performance, a result of their preparation, their discipline, their determination. They knew they had to limit the Commanders' scoring opportunities, and they executed their game plan perfectly.
Now, as we look ahead to the Super Bowl, the question is, can the Eagles repeat this dominant performance on the biggest stage against an even tougher opponent?
That's the challenge, isn't it? They've set a high bar for themselves with this win, and the expectations are through the roof. But if they can stay focused, maintain this intensity, and execute like they did in this game, they have a real chance to make history.
They've shown they have the talent, the coaching, and the mental toughness to overcome adversity and rise to the occasion. But the Super Bowl is different. It's a pressure cooker, a stage where legacies are made and dreams can be realized or shattered.
It's a game that demands perfection, where every decision, every play, every moment matters. The Eagles have handled pressure well so far, but the Super Bowl is the ultimate test.
It's the moment they've been working towards all season, the moment they've pictured countless times. And now with the Lombardi Trophy within reach, they have the chance to achieve their ultimate goal and cement their place among the NFL's elite.
This Super Bowl is going to be a spectacle, a battle of the best that will have the whole world watching. And we as fans are lucky to be able to witness it.
And we'll be here to guide you through every moment of it, to provide the insights and analysis that will enhance your experience. So stay tuned, folks, because this is a journey you won't want to miss. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back soon with more in-depth coverage as we count down to Super Bowl Roman numeral for the current Super Bowl.